and welcome to Impact 2025, our continuing conversation where we talk about all different types of topics from race, religion, current events, everything that you can think of. And as always, I remind people that this is your opportunity to participate by typing your questions and your comments into the comments section. So feel free to not just listen, but also to put in your, as they say, 2 cents, put in your opinions, put in your thoughts. And so whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, feel free to type in to the comment section, type in what you want to say, and it will pop up on the screen and we will address it. As always, I like to remind you of the other offerings that we have here. Of course, on Thursdays, every Thursday, we have Thursday Thirst. That is our weekly Bible study. That is at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's on Facebook and YouTube. Feel free to join us. It's very good. On Sundays, we have worship service. That's at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's Facebook, YouTube, and the address that is on your screen. So that's worship service. You can definitely come see us in person. On Tuesdays at 7 o'clock, we have a time of prayer from 7 to 7:45. Come and pray with everyone in the ministry. And so it's not where we all have to get together or do anything like that, because everybody in the ministry is praying at some point between 7 and 7:45. So join us for that as well. And of course, right now, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we have Impact 2025. All right. And so we're going to jump into our topic today. And I'm going to say it again, like I've said it many times before in the past. A lot of stuff going on in the world. A lot of people are nervous right now because there's about to be supposedly a government shutdown today, when the government stops working for the most part, stop being funded. And so only essential workers are really asked to work. So people will worry about their next paychecks, maybe losing their jobs, things like that. So it's a high stress time. We're not going to talk about that. But I know that's one of the big things going on. This week, just like between the time we got here last week and the time this week, we've had another mass shooting. This time at a Mormon church. And so that's, we've had some significant shootings, 3 major shootings in the last couple of weeks. And then, of course, you just have the regular stuff that goes on all around your different towns, states, and neighborhoods and things like that. But we're not going to talk about that either. What we're talking about is there's this new-ish development that has happened. There is a AI-generated actress. And when I say AI-generated actress, this actress is not real. It is just generated by AI. And so the actress is, just a computer program. And what has happened is that this actress, if you're making a movie, you have the ability to do a hybrid movie, or you can just do an all AI movie. But you can put this actress in there and she will say the lines and do everything. And for the most part, you can't tell, generally speaking, that she's an actress. You would have to. People say that if you look really close, you can tell, because our mannerisms and the way our eyes move and the way our emotions, you can't replicate that with AI. That's what some people say. Well, the news story about this, or the new current event about this, is that this actress, this AI-generated actress, is now getting representation. And so when I say representation, that means that the AI program, the owners of the AI program are now, the actress technically has an agent, an agency behind, and so that they're going to go out and try to book gigs for this AI actress. And so you have people who are actors and actresses who are all bent out of shape because they're saying, like, this doesn't make any sense. You're coming for the movie industry with AI actresses, and I guess next will be AI actors. But why are you, who's the person that's going to represent them? And they said, whatever the agency is, all actors who have the same agency should quit and go to another agency. And so if your agent works at this particular agency, you should leave. and that'll show them. That's the way to fight back. But this does have a broader implications for just everyone, for society. And the broader implication comes into the fact, and we've talked about AI a little bit here before, but the broader implication comes into the fact that now more than ever, you are seeing AI used as more than just answering questions, like you have your Copilot or your Gemini or your Siri or whatever you're having. Now you're seeing it as points of recognition for people. So people can recognize this person and look towards this person. They're looking towards them for advice. They're looking towards people as, now with the actresses and things like that, as entertainment and role models and other things like that. As right now, there is a major actress, a major singer, sorry, not actress, a major singer who is all AI generated. I've listened to some of the songs that have come out, decent songs, and so it's AI because it's a compilation of different singers' voices and everything like that. But the artist who swears that they wrote all of the songs, they just had the AI person sing it. And the AI person has a distinct voice. It's their AI voice. And so they have their own stage name and everything like that. And they sing songs. And and people listen to the songs. And they're selling records or selling whatever they sell now. I don't know how they actually make money with music. But they're making money. And this is the broader implication of it is for not only just young people, because that's normally where we go when it comes to AI, but just everybody. Because they're talking now about there are people who are now talking to their AI, talking to whatever service that they have, and they're starting to develop feelings for their AI, for the service. So if you have Gemini and you've been asking Gemini questions, there are people they're reporting who are starting to have feelings for that AI. And it's just the fact of you no longer need to look for building relationships with human people and real people, because you're going to have a perfectly good relationship with your computer. So, why are we talking about this? We're talking about this because this is a problem, I feel like. Or maybe not a problem. Let's say this is a change of what we need to talk about. Because if your relationships are built on AI, if what you watch on TV is built on AI, if songs are built on AI, what AI has done is what they do is they bring together different sounds and different visions. So for the actress, they're bringing in a bunch of different people's features. Like they have the lips from this person, and the eyes from this person, and the hair from this person. And they bring it all together to give you that ideal look. In the case of when we were talking about the singer, they're bringing in a little bit of voice from this person, a little bit of voice from this person, and these singers, and they're bringing it together to come up with the optimal sound. And so basically, they're giving you what you want. They're giving you exactly what you want to see in the actress, and what you want to hear in the singer. They're not giving you something that you can decide, well, this is cool, this is good, this is not, I don't like it. But they're giving you exactly what you want. And so they're manipulating people. And so whatever you want to hear, whatever you want to see, that's what you'll get from AI. When they're talking about the people who are getting feelings and falling into a little relationship with their AI generated, with their AI generated personality on their phones and things like that, where they're asking questions, the AI is always there to please you and do exactly what you want. And so why is this a problem? We've already talked about here how selfish we are as a society, how selfish we are as people, and how that's one of the biggest problems that we have. This is everybody's just thinking about themselves. Well, if you have a computer operation, AI generated, that is there to please you, or that is there to give you exactly what you want, that's going to, again, push us down the road of being even more selfish. that's going to push us down the road of even more isolation because, again, we don't need relationships because they're falling into the trap of your AI. So, how does that affect us when we're talking about people who are Christians? How does that affect us when we're talking about people who are supposed to be in community? How are we going to be in community with one another when we're going to lose patience with one another because we don't need to deal with the intricacies of one another? We can just deal with AI. You know, just like I know, it's difficult to deal with people because we're all different. You know, some of us have short fuses and we get mad quickly. Some of us act like we're detached and we have no emotion at all and no spark. Some of us are high strung and we're just running. Some of us are laid and chilled back. We're so different. You know, some of us are really intellectual and really think through things. And some of us are kind of surface level where we're just like, it is what it is. And I'm not going to think too deep about stuff. We get on each other's nerves and it's hard to build relationships. How are we going to be able to continuously be in relationship, develop those skills to be in relationship with people who are different from us if we're losing a lot of that by being trapped into this AI cycle of where you only get what you like? And so you're so used to what you like. You're so used to what you want, and you can get it from AI that you're not going to be able to deal with the diversity of other people. You're not going to be able to deal with the ups and downs of other people and attitudes and different opinions and different ways of doing things with other people because you're going to be so used to getting exactly what you want all the time. Comment. So we won't be able to trust what we see or hear. Already people can appear to say things that have been AI generated. Many people today are lazy and gullible. Absolutely. That's one of the biggest problems is that you don't know what to hear or what to trust. And so if you're going to constantly go out here on the internet and that's where you're going to get your information from, you're really going to be in a world of hurt because there's no way to know. There is a thing, and everybody has seen it, where there's just fake news stories all the time. They're saying people are dead and they won't be dead. They'll say this celebrity is died. They're alive. Or they'll say this tragedy happened over in this country and this blew up, or they're just making stuff up. But you don't have any way to really know if it's true or not, other than you have to check some other places and some other sources. But like the comment says here, many people are just lazy. They're going to hear it or see it on the internet, and then they're just going to go with it and think it's true. And it's going to be hard to trust. And so one of the things that I think we need to get back to doing is, and what we kind of talked about at the very beginning, you got to get off that internet and get into some real situations. One of the beautiful parts about going to church in person is that you know who you're hearing from. You can see them. You know that they're not AI. You know, we haven't gotten to the point now where we're going to have robots that look like people and you can kind of trick somebody with that. We're not there. But I know that you can get tricked by being online. If you think you're going to go to church online, you could be going to a whole AI generated church thinking that you're listening to somebody for real. And they can be 100% fake. That's what's going to be going on, where we're going to be tricked. And so how do we get around this? By doing more real life things, by getting out of the house, getting away from the computer and doing real life things where we meet up in real life, flesh to flesh, you know. And I think that's some of the, how do you get real information? Because you're talking to real people and you're getting real information versus, you know, staying online and getting tricked, getting fooled. We're already having a problem in the church with people putting forth a gospel colored by political agendas and opinions. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that some of that, I think it's bad enough. I think it's bad enough the way that it already is when you're going to, if you go to a church where you're hearing some craziness. But I think it's worse because you have a lot of people again who are just sitting at the house, and now you're not coming into a real situation at the church. When you're at the house and you're listening to some kind of ideology, you're listening to a lot of the stuff that's put forth. You really can't ask questions. You really can't say, all right, that doesn't sound consistent with what I think is right. Can you show me where that's represented in the word? That doesn't sound like what I've known Christianity to be. Um, let's talk this through, and let's look at some verses, and let's look at some of the stories in here and kind of see where that perspective is coming from to make sure that I'm on the right page, because it's just not sitting right with me. That's hard to do when you're doing things virtually, and it's definitely hard to do when you're doing things AI. And so I think it's easier to be fooled and tricked. And we're already having that problem. You got politicians who are trying to put it across their political agenda, and they're telling you that this is it and that is it. And the problem is, you got to sit back here and, I think, see it in real life, so that you can let's open up the Bible together. Let's look through here. Go ahead and explain to me what's going on. But you need to be able to be, I think, more so in touch in real life to be able to ask questions, and not just a one-on-one type question. Sometimes it's that group where we talk together, where we come up with the ideas. If you go to a Bible study and there's conversation that goes on. You go to church, and depending on what kind of what the setup is, you during church and after church, there are multiple times for conversations, because church doesn't just stop with the sermon, or the teaching or the learning just doesn't stop there with the sermon. And so the conversations that you can have about what you heard. But I think that the real life is what's going to be one of the best things to block us from being tricked and fooled with AI. We got to be careful, because people will go home and they'll start asking their AI all these questions. What's the meaning of life, or what I should do? There's a lawsuit going on right now where parents are trying to sue one of the AI companies, because they said that the AI program encouraged their child to commit suicide. And so whatever questions the child was asking the AI generated system, the answers that were coming back pushed that child towards suicide. And it's not even, the problem is the AI can't look at you and tell what's going on with you, because the AI may have been giving you the right information, good information. The kid might have been asking about, well, what happens when you die? Is this going to be painful? And da 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 da. And the AI's going to tell you the truth. No, this is not going to be painful. You won't even feel this. Da 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 da. But the AI can't tell that you're in a crisis situation, that you're asking these questions because you're leading yourself down a bad path, which is going to result in suicide. And that's where the danger comes in. We need to not only ourselves go towards real life and real people, but we have to push vulnerable populations towards real life and real people. So people who are going to sit home and be like, well, you know what, I'm gonna just go watch the TV and see what such and such says, or I'm gonna go in the AI and ask them questions. We need to push people towards real folk and real things. We got to stop trying to figure stuff out from the TV and from the internet, because again, we're at the point now where even if it was good, now it's not good because you can't trust it. And we should not be so arrogant to think that we found the one thing on the internet that's always true, it's always real. What is it? Facebook, they got the blue check, and you can be like, oh, well, that makes it real. You can't trust any of this stuff now. But we also, can't trust it, but we also don't want to lead people down the path of, now you're just sitting here looking at AI and you're looking at stuff that's fake, and it's fake, but you're more comfortable with that than real life, because that's where it also can be led. And that's the scary part about the actress and the singer and all of that, is because it's fake, it's just a computer, but you want to participate in that over participating in real life. And so I think at this point in time, we're in a new day, a new age. This is all coming at us very fast. But I think that our reaction to what's going on, the more that AI is coming around, is to bring ourselves back together. We've been pushed apart. COVID, working from home, all these other things. People Actually just people being obsessed with their kids playing sports and things like that. We've done things that have pushed us apart as a society, and definitely pushed us apart as people of faith. And I think what we need to do, and what is going to protect us from AI, some of the craziness of AI, some other things we're not going to be protected from. AI is just like AI is going to take your job, and there's nothing to protect you from that. But coming together will protect us from some of this false information. Coming together, I think, will protect us from some of the inevitable dangers that come from computers running things. From their perspective, and their perspective is whoever put that information in there. And so we need to be able to know that something is real. And what you know is real is you know that one another is real. And we're looking at people in the flesh, face to face. When you're coming to church on Sundays, you know that's real. When you are coming to Bible study, not virtually, but when you're coming into a real Bible study, you know that that's real. When you're getting together and having relationships, that's real. And I think that's what we really need to be. AI does not have morals, empathies, or feelings. Decisions are made and advised is given based on the algorithms. Absolutely, it's based on the algorithms. And the one thing that I know that this comment is coming from is who set up the algorithm, who set it up. It's based on algorithms, and AI does learn, but at the end of the day, you set it up. That's what. Get back to the lawsuits. They're having lawsuits and discussions now because some AI is racist, some AI is not. Now it depends on which one you got. You get the one. Some AI just outright makes up lies, and so it depends on which one you got. So what's the algorithm running it? Who set it up? It doesn't have morals, but if the person who has a high moral background was setting up the algorithm, it'll have a little bit more morals than the one that is made by somebody who just is off the reservation. I don't know if I can say that. Off in the left field. Maybe that, yeah. The person that's off, who doesn't have any morals, and they set up an AI, that thing ain't gonna have no morals either. And so not only can you not trust AI, you got to know who put in the work on this one, who's done this. And I want y'all to be, we should all be real serious with ourselves. Billionaires are over these companies. And when you look at some of these billionaires, those are not the people that you need to be trusting. You look at some of the heads of these companies and you're just like, there's a lot to be desired there in the morality department. There's a lot to be desired in the ethics department. These people about money. They're going to do whatever they got to do to get more of it, even though they got more than they could spend in their whole entire life. And so you got to worry about people like that. And so those are the ones who are putting together, these programs. They're leading the teams who are then going to develop these programs. What do you think these AI things are going to be like? Because if they don't have, they're not the people that I would, I don't trust them. I wouldn't, most of these people as rich and famous and as great of a leader they could not watch my dog. I wouldn't let, no, because they're not trustworthy. They're not going to do the things. And so if those are the people at the top, man, what do you think that these algorithms are going to be based on? Another one. Can you imagine AI set up by Hitler? Exactly. Like if he was the one setting up the algorithm, or if the current president of the United States, if he set up the algorithm, those things would be trash. They're going to have some terrible ideas. They got some terrible opinions. They're going to tell you to do terrible things. Terrible input is going to lead to terrible. And so, yeah, man, that's a great comment. You gotta know where you're getting this information from. Even out of that, going back to what we originally talked about. We talked about these AI singers and these AI actresses. Who they gonna be set up by? You're gonna have racist AI if you got the wrong person, sexist AI, discriminatory AI, hateful AI. So anyway. All right. Well, that's kind of where we're at. So the main thing here, I think, for me, when I looked at this is, all right, we got AI coming. We got a lot of stuff that's going to be out here that's going to be tricking people and fooling people. The main thing to combat it is to come together. It's to do some real life experiences. It's to make sure you have a real life. And we need to see each other. And it is much easier to lie on the phone, over text, over email, online, over Facebook, whatever. It's much easier to lie to a person like that. It's a little bit harder to get those lies off face to face. People do. It's just a little bit harder. So it's a little bit of a buffer. And here's the best part. If you're being lied to face, and there's other people around, somebody might pull you to the side and be like, hey man, he lying. When you're on your computer or you're at the house, ain't nobody else around you to be like, well, that don't sound right. And so sometimes being in the company of others is the best buffer. But I think that's what it is. What we all know is that as Christians, as people of faith, we all need to be in relationship with one another. And that is our buffer to combat the lies. That is our buffer to combat just being tricked and fooled by AI. And also the other negative things where AI can just pull you down a bad rabbit hole. May not even be lying, but just pull you down a bad rabbit hole if you just seeing the stuff that you want to see or doing the stuff that you want to do. You need to be in real relationships with real people. And I think that's our buffer. That's going to be the thing that's going to keep us safe and keep our children safe. All right. Well, that's it. I want to thank everybody for the comments. Thank everybody for joining us. We're in a new day. We got to be able to adjust. As a reminder again, on Thursdays, our weekly Bible study at 7 o'clock. Please join us for that. Sundays, 10 a.m., Facebook, YouTube, and in person. And then Tuesdays, 7 o'clock, 7:45, we have a time of prayer. Please join us for that. And of course, we have Impact at 8. One more comment that came in. They say that many companies are demanding that workers come back to the office. Perhaps you can generate an AI image of yourself at work. Yeah. That's probably why they need them to come back to the office, because people are figuring out how to do an AI image of themselves and don't have to do no work at all. You got 2 or 3 jobs. Talking about I'm working remote. You ain't even a real person. So yeah. That's funny. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody. Continue, as we always say, continue the conversation. Make sure that you continue to have these conversations amongst yourself, amongst friends, amongst family. We have to continue to talk, because the one thing that's going to keep us sane in these times is to talk, and to keep us safe in these times is to know what's going on. All right. Thank everybody, and join us again.
Sometimes you'll wonder if you will be all you can be, and doubts can climb